Good morning, November 24th. Pretty chilly day. It's minus 13 Celsius, which is about 10 degrees, 9 or 10 degrees Fahrenheit. As I've done before, I'm parked down here where I just had to buy kitty litter. Now we're going to walk up and down South Albert, I think, today. More or less, in whatever fashion that strikes me. And hopefully not freeze to death, but one advantage of this is if I get really cold, I can always step into a store along the way. So. Also, I have to get something at Canadian Tire over there at the end, so that's actually where I'm going to finish the walk. I'll be over there by Canadian Tire. My right hand, which is holding the gimbal, is already cold, so I may have to switch frequently. It's cold because I had to have it out of the glove in order to press everything on the screen, so that quickly results in chilled fingers on a chilly day. All right, here we go. We'll walk this way. There's a Boston pizza here, which I've eaten in many times, not recently, but used to come here quite often with Alice when I needed to get something together. Gonna have to watch out for the ice today, that's for sure. Because it was above freezing yesterday. Now it's well below freezing. It's supposed to be +6 tomorrow and again on Sunday, so we may lose a lot of snow from this batch. Steakhouse over there. A little further over is Indigo, the bookstore. See how the gimbal does in the cold. It may not like it. Its battery may die. Microphone batteries may die. I don't know. This is probably my coldest walk so far. Close to it anyway. So yes, I'm very much in proper winter parkas and things here today. Oh, that wind. The wind is blowing from the north, which means I'm walking into it. You know, that just changed my mind about where I'm going to walk. I'm going to walk east-west instead to avoid some of the wind. I won't be at all comfortable walking in that direction. Okay, we will retrace our steps. We'll walk along Gordon Road instead. But that's not what I promised. Okay, I'll be tough. I can do it. Worst that can happen is I'll get frostbite. All right. Also, there will be shelter along the way. Hello, who's there? Abhishek? Well, yes, it has changed quite a bit since I got here in 1988. You don't think about it because it's incremental, but it changes all the time, of course. And some cities change a lot more rapidly than this one does. Is there a sidewalk there? No, so we'll stay in this. Bonzini's Brew Pub. It's still active. Maybe it is. I haven't been in there for ages if it is. The gimbal is definitely not liking the cold. It's doing weird things. Oh, before snowing now. Yes, it changed rapidly. Thought you mentioned you'd been here years ago. I already switched hands. I have my hand in my glove on side to keep my fingers warm. I think about switching to mitts to do this, I don't think gloves will do it in cold weather. And this still isn't as cold as it could be, by any means. All right, I remember now. Well, this is what it's like in the winter, only more so, because it's not winter yet. It's only autumn. Get over here on the sidewalk again, because the sidewalk has so much ice on it. There's pizza places along here. There's a pot shop. That was an ice cream store back there I walked by. Dandy's Artisan Ice Cream. Texas Credit Union here. The drive-through teller machine. There, Texas Credit Union. CAA, Canadian Automobile Association. Avon Foods, heaving into sight, if you want to use nautical terms. Grocery store, ho! There's actually a sidewalk over here, so let's go use that. For a little ways, there's a sidewalk. There's also a Starbucks in there. This hot cup of coffee sounds pretty good right now, but okay, switching hands again. Well, there's where I usually take my car when it needs work. Doing a great job on clearing their sidewalks, are they? Choice between walking in the snow, which sometimes has better traction, but it's harder to walk through, or walking on the beaten down path, which is slippery. So yes, it's about minus 13 Celsius, which is not that cold, really, but coldest I've come out to do this, so it's kind of a test of my face. I may have to, normally if I was walking, going into the wind like this, I would cover my face, and I can't. I suppose I could put my mask on that I have in my pocket. Bad idea. I don't like people who walk around outside with masks. I think it's silly from a virus protection point of view, but from keeping your face warm point of view, makes perfect sense. Icy driveway to get across here. And there's geese. I would have thought they would have all given up by now. Again, it's weird because tomorrow it's supposed to be plus 6. So tomorrow when I walk, it'll probably be, depending on what time of day it is. First thing in the morning, no, but actually Friday is supposed to be plus 6. Tomorrow's supposed to be around freezing. So we just got this blast of cold air. It was supposed to bring some extra snow, but we didn't really get any. The restaurants over here. That one's been several things. Greco's here. Greek cuisine has been here forever. Actually, that says to lease, so I don't think it's anything again. Hard to say. Greco's over here. I've eaten that a few times over the years. About 9 degrees Fahrenheit if you're from a non-Celsius using. And the wind is blowing in my face, so the wind chill is noticeable, to say the least. You have a mixture of well-cleared sidewalks and sidewalks nobody has touched at all. Probably because I can't decide who they belong to. Tire place here, Cal Tire. Over here. I have a lot of tire there. Recently I mostly go to K Tire now, which is the place that does my work. Actually have a walk light, but I also don't have anybody coming, so take my chances. Watch the ice again. Still not recovered from the first fall. Still have sore spots from that fall. Back when the first snow came in. This is the second snow. The blizzard is mostly what this is. There was snow before that too. We've had kind of two decent sized snowfalls and a couple of smaller ones. Oh. Okay. Turn through the Frisco over here. Piece up there. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to go all the way north up there. The wind is really starting to get to me. Stop for a moment in the shelter of this sign and let my face thaw for a second or two. I do have a scarf I could put up over my face a bit. Might make my sound a little more muffled. I may have to do it here. Let's see. It's not going to work very well because I can't move well that bad. Put the hood up, that'll help. Okay, got my hood up. Alright, let's carry on. Didn't really cover my face, but it warmed up there for a minute, so I should be okay. Put this down for a second, I could adjust it quite nicely, and I should have done that before I set out, but okay, I think I'm okay for the moment. Just getting out of the wind for a minute gave my cheeks a chance to thaw. 7-Eleven. Somebody asked me many walks ago, they were surprised that we still had 7-Elevens, but we do. I guess they've disappeared some places. Yeah, I don't know what's being built over here. It used to be a brew pub, and then they were doing a lot of work. Every time I walk by it, they were doing a lot of work, but it doesn't seem to have turned into anything yet. So I don't know what they're planning for it. It's about the third time I've done this walk along South Albert since I started, so it's not something I do very often. But both times I did it, the that was being worked on, so. Now my scarf is getting completely out of control. It's very hard to do these things one-handed, but I can't put the thing down, so the gimbal down. There's a Shoppers Drug Mart back there. The French Press here is a nice coffee shop. I've been a few times, and my daughter likes. There's a Chinese restaurant next to it. One nice thing about South Albert is that, unlike some of the newer areas, it actually has sidewalks everywhere. Seems like a lot of new commercial developments. I remember being in a suburb of Washington, D.C. years ago when I went down there for a meeting, and the hotel I was in, walking around in the area, there wasn't a sidewalk anywhere. It's just parking lots. It's like nobody had ever even dreamed that they might want to. Might actually want to walk somewhere. Here's Earl's. Maybe we'll go around behind Earl's. Show you the liquor store. Also, bit of wind shelter here. Earl's. Earl's. Been in there many a time. Let's stop again for a second, see if I can do something with this scarf. It's getting out of hand. Come on. So it doesn't flop around. Alright, that'll be better. This is the South Albert liquor store where we often shop for materials of that nature. There's my hand again, just when it was out. Some ice on the parking lot I gotta watch out for. Over here is a medical imaging facility, Prairie Skies. So if you need an ultrasound or things like that, you're often sent here. X-rays, so forth and so on. Not too far from the turnaround point. Going back with the wind behind me, walking south, will be a little more comfortable for me. So here, Prairie Skies medical imaging. Is that all ahead of us? No. Sorry, Golden Mile. All ahead of us. Broken Rack, there's a pool. My daughter was there with some friends recently for a birthday party. Picking my daughter up from the pool hall at 1 o'clock in the morning. Grandmother's rolling over in her grave. Well, I managed to find myself a nice slippery place to walk here. For me. Probably because there's been some splashing here when it was thawing the last couple of days. So it splashes up onto the sidewalk and makes ice. I'll walk through the gravel here. much less slippery. So this is a petrol station here. Hotel across the street. A couple of them. I think that's still called the West Harvest Inn. Now it is Fairfield Inn and Suites over there. Okay, one more block up, 2 blocks I guess really, we'll get turned around and we'll be able to head south again. We're going to end up at the Canadian Tire down at the Southland Mall as the finishing point for this walk. There's a London pub in there that I've never been in, English style pub. Should go try riding there someday. Here we are looking down South Albert. We'll be walking that way in a minute. KFC over here. I haven't frozen. Came close. There's not a lot of wind. If the wind was really blowing today, I would not have been able to keep coming this direction without covering my face. I wish I'd covered my face even so. Eventually we'll get our turn. There's something going this way first. There we go. I hope the sound's alright. I think my mic has gotten a little off center there. Because of me fiddling with my scarf. There, that's a little better. Good old Kentucky Fried Chicken. Sub place next to that. Let's get to the Golden Mile Center. This is called Gold Square on this side. That's kind of that building there. That's doctor's offices. There's a medical lab in there that I've been to a few times on needed blood tests, that sort of thing. There's a very little bit of snow falling, but I think that's going to melt in, I think. I can feel it on my face. What I can feel on my face. More ice. Let's, there we go. So there's a coffee house there. Freshy, booster juice, that kind of thing. Urban Cellars here is a liquor store. Fat Burger. We're heading to those lights up there, then we'll cross over to the other side to walk back. Here's the plan. There's the mall itself over there. Won't bother walking over there today. I'm anxious to turn around and go the other direction. So, but you know, it can't all be parks and frozen lakes and pretty sun effects. It's a gray, grim November day. South Albert, Regina, Saskatchewan. In my engineering history book, one of the stories was about, or was actually maybe it was history of Mullard and Associates. I think that was it. Jack Mullard founded that company. When he got here back 50s probably, this was the edge of town. This would have been still out in the country. Okay, better sidewalks here, hopefully all the way to the intersection. Completely redone a few years ago. Original Joe's here. Almost at the intersection. Nobody using the decks this time of year. Doesn't matter how nice your deck is. Not going to get a lot of uptake in November, December, January, February, March, and April. Maybe in April if things went just right. Most likely it's May before you do anything. That must have just changed, so I can probably risk crossing here. Over there is Marion Gardens, which is a sort of retirement dwelling. Can already tell it's warmer walking the other way without the wind in my face. Really perfectly comfortable going this way. Another chance to play with my scarf. Oh well, I just lost my fuzzy covering, but there's not much wind, so it shouldn't make too much difference to the sound. Didn't lose it, but I can't put it on with one hand. So it's in my pocket now. The market over here. A few other things. Robin's Donuts, that's been there forever, that donut shop. It's remarkable how much more comfortable it is now that I'm walking with the wind behind me than it was walking into it. Wind chill is not real temperature. The real temperature is whatever the air temperature is. Wind chill just measures the loss of heat, really. How quickly whatever the wind is blowing on loses heat. So minus 20 wind chill means that it feels as cold as if it was minus 20 in still air as far as how quickly you lose heat or something else loses heat. But it's not real temperature. It can only cool it down to whatever the actual air temperature is. So even though the wind chill now is probably minus 20 or something like that, it's still, nothing gets any colder than minus 13, or whatever the actual temperature is. To buy Edward Bullitt, who used to write a science column for 20 years for newspapers and radio. This lot has been empty now for a very long time. As far as I can tell, the mic at least is still connected. I haven't had any buffering warning, so last time I did this, my sound quit. Oh, here we go. They are actually heading south. At least that particular group is at this moment. Oh, let's go over here and walk by the hotel. Just by way of variation. So this is Fairfield Inn and Suites. Like everything else, I think that's a version of a Marriott. Fairly new one, this. Hasn't been here all that long. I remember watching them build it. Agribition is on. So probably a lot of the hotels are doing pretty good business right now. It's an agricultural exhibition. I might go down and walk through it. It'll cost me $20 to get in, and the time, I'm not too wild about the amount of time it would take, but at the same time, it would make for a more interesting video, perhaps. They have a deck too, which also has nobody on it. London Bell. They call it a patio, perhaps that's because they're London. Okay. Gotta wait for the light again. Almost got me. Gotta wait for the light again. I'll walk by this hotel too. Sask Power Vehicle. The power company. Walking the crosswalk rather thoroughly, but they're only a Crown corporation, so. This, well, I still think of it as the West Harvest Inn. I don't know if they call it that or not. It's called the Royal Hotel. It's not the West Harvest Inn anymore. Been in here for meetings and dinners and things, and there's a pretty decent restaurant for ordinary kinds of eating. In fact, I think I ate here on my wedding morning with my relatives who were here for the wedding. Not with my wife, of course, because you don't see each other till the time of the wedding, by tradition. This over here used to be Blockbuster, back when people rented videos. Remember that? When you rented video cassettes? That was our Blockbusters. It's been a couple other things. Now it's got a couple of things in there, including a lingerie shop. In this strip mall, if there's one thing I miss, it's Book and Briar Patch, which used to be the bookstore that was in this one, behind these big windows on the corner, which is now Crocus and Ivy. Also a nice store, but I miss the bookstore. There's a coffee shop down there. We used to come here when my daughter was little with my wife's mother, and we'd go to the coffee shop and have cappuccinos or lattes and cinnamon buns, and then Alice would come in here. The children's section was down here, and she'd look at picture books, and we'd usually buy something. Good times. They had the best cinnamon buns too. Now this is funny, up here, it's now called the Knotted Thistle, but there was a time when the Irish pub here was called the Barney Stone, and we're currently reading one of Alan Doyle's books. He's the former lead singer of Great Big Sea, Order of Canada recipient, great guy. We met him in Newfoundland on this trip we did there recently. You can see some videos of him singing on my YouTube channel. And we're reading his book. He wrote one that was about his growing up in Petty Harbour, Newfoundland. And then he wrote one about sort of his first trip across Canada with Great Big Sea. Kind of the first time he saw the rest of the country. We've just gotten to Saskatchewan in the book. I highly recommend it, by the way. And he mentions the Barney Stone. The Barney Stone was in this. It's what's now the Knotted Thistle. My best memory of it was coming to the Barney Stone. We actually left a symphony concert early to come to the Barney Stone to see the humorous musical group, the Arrogant Worms. Here's where you would check in. And somehow the waitress contrived to spill an entire pint of Guinness on me, and I was wearing my suit and tie, so that was a dry cleaning job. I don't really remember well, I kind of remember the concert. It was fine. We enjoyed it. We always enjoyed the Arrogant Worms. But I really remember getting that Guinness dumped on me. But perhaps that's the true Irish pub experience. That makes it a really authentic Irish pub. If you get Guinness spilled on you. Burger King here. Kind of watching my feet again because there's a lot of ice on these sidewalks. Subway over here. And a TCBY frozen yogurt place. Domino's Pizza. Other little things. Still watching my feet. There we go. I don't know what else is in there. There must be offices of some sort up above. Well, Saskatchewan Health Authority apparently is in there. Looks like it won't be too long before I'll be getting my booster shot. I'll be coming up on my 6 months since I had mine. Second shot. That's when you'll become eligible, it looks like. Hortons, always a popular place. I don't really know why. It's never my favorite place. I don't mind their iced cappuccinos, but for coffee, I'd rather go somewhere else. But it's kind of a heresy in Canada. It's the Keg. Steakhouse and bar. Pure Country 92.7 radio station up here. Somewhere along here, a little further back even, that my sound failed last time I walked down here, so hopefully it's working fine for you. Only had one person say hi on YouTube this morning. And nobody on Facebook, but I'm here wherever you are. I'm here. Convenience store, gas station, car wash. And we'll walk through the snow again to avoid the slippery bits. It's quite pleasant going this way. So all my complaining about the cold was entirely related to the wind chill. My fingers aren't cold. My face isn't cold. It's all fine at minus 12 or 13 without the wind. There's the gas station over here. Big one. Lots of pumps. This A&W's been here a long time. It's changed looks over the years, but same location. And India House next to it is interesting. India House was our favorite Indian restaurant, but a long time ago it was on Victoria. We haven't been into it since they moved down here. But this building, I really remember it as Earl's. It was the original Earl's. We used to come here a lot after shows. I remember being in there with the cast of Marriage of Figaro, Opera Saskatchewan production, which I was in. I remember the soprano at one point sitting on somebody's lap, some other guest's lap, singing Happy Birthday. And I remember all of us singing a bit of the opera inside the kitchen. I remember that. I actually had a non-singing part. I was playing the servant, who's just a comic role. But I got a nice mention in the newspaper review. Had great fun, got lots of laughs. You know, and if you can get laughs in an opera, I'd rather do musicals. never had a major opera role in like a big Traviata or something like that. Small roles, very small. But I toured for 3 years with the Prairie Opera, which operated out of Saskatoon. At a strip mall there. And so, definitely an opera singer, professional opera singer for those 3 winters. It was a major thing for me as far as income for a couple of months. Singing opera, touring schools. We'd have these shows that you could incorporate kids in. So we'd go in, we'd into a gym. Usually they would have the opportunity ahead of time to make sets. So usually we had sets that had been made by the kids. And the teachers would know what we needed for the show. And then we'd go in and we would, the snow's starting to fall a little bit more heavily now. We'd go in and for the first hour, we would work with the kids to incorporate them in the show. They were all designed to actually have children participate with just a little bit of rehearsal. And then everybody would come into the gym and we'd do the show. And we'd usually do that twice a day in 2 different schools. In between, we would drive in this rusted out old van that I used to joke was heated by piping the exhaust fumes directly into the passenger compartment. I felt that way sometimes. So when I was reading in Alan Doyle's book that I mentioned about touring across Canada in an old van, eating all kinds of junk food along the way, it spoke to me, as they say. I could identify with that. And we always did it in January and February, so the weather could be iffy, to say the least. I quit after 3 years. I think they only did 1 more year after I said I had a big writing job contract. I don't remember what it was, but whatever it was, it meant I didn't have time to go on the road, especially in those days before I had a laptop computer. So, good morning, Terry. Here, let's go over and walk in front of the strip mall over here. This is Havoc. Clothing store. Quite a large one. So this is a toy store. I don't think I've ever been in here past the age, my daughter being past the age where I buy her toys. Comic readers, I've been in here. It's just what you would think. It's a comic store. Various other fan-related things. The bat signal there in neon. Prairie Rapid Testing, that's a pop-up. Hopefully when that pops down again at some point. Vape store. And a doctor's office. This, of course, is the drive-through for McDonald's. I'll go down the alley behind it, actually, if I can. I don't think I can. No, I can't. I just end up walking on the drive-through if I go over there. All right, we'll go back to the sidewalk down here. We're headed to Canadian Tire in the Southland Mall, which is right over there. I have to get across the street. Oh, yes, I'll stop there. I have to go in and buy something there, so I'll stop outside there. The car is actually right over that way, but get there from here. It's McDonald's. Then you get this golf station here. Not my favorite intersection to cross at, but I'll make it work. I'm not sure. There may only be a crosswalk on this side, pedestrian crosswalk. Could put my lanyard back on, so if I do, my grip slips, I don't drop the gimbal, theoretically. When I fell, I certainly dropped it. I don't think I'm going to make this light. I'll have to wait for the next one. Yeah. There's no pedestrian light on the other side of the intersection, so I have to cross on this side. And I don't really have time. I won't try to do it with that little time left, so we'll wait. Hi, Greg. Yeah, I saw a lot of the province doing Prairie Opera School tour, that's for sure. Certainly just about every... it felt like I'd been in every school gymnasium. I know we weren't in every town by any means, but they all start to look alike after 4 weeks on the road doing 2 shows a day, 5 days a week. And occasionally a weekend show on a more formal nature somewhere. Now we have to wait for the left turn signals. Our turn. It's going to be a while yet. Maybe see there a little bit of the snow falling, just a flurry. The sun's not exactly out, but it's peeking through. And again, we're headed to Canadian Tire, which is right over there. Turn. People, if they see me with this right now, might think I'm somebody from out of town, from Agribition. That's just showing off the city for folks back home. There's no one to push. It's going this way. I just have to wait. Technically, I'm better off going down to this one. It's not really a good crossing because I just end up in the snow. So we'll go down to the next light. Shop over there is a reasonably new steakhouse, which I have never been in. There's the wind again now that I've turned this direction. And suddenly it's not comfortable anymore. Now open, now open, now open, now open. They really want you to know that it's open. Can't blame them. This is Gordon Road. Follow this straight out, takes you to Harbor Landing commercial area, which I've only walked in a couple of times. Lots of big box stores over there. Lowe's, Walmart, and Cabela's, is that the name of the outdoorsy store? My car is right over there. Maybe it makes just as much sense to go to the car as to walk over to Canadian Tire. It probably does. Because Canadian Tire's right there, so I'm essentially at Canadian Tire. So I'll go back to the car, and that's where I'll call this off. Then I'll drive over to Canadian Tire to get what I need to get, which is nothing exciting. Plumbing related. That's as exciting as it gets. Okay. Tomorrow will be a much more pleasant temperature for walking, and we'll see. I'm not going to promise agribition, but it's still a possibility. It ends on Saturday, so I've got 3 more days to go down there if I want to. Pet-friendly ice melt. I never thought about ice melt being pet unfriendly, but I suppose it can be. It's, you know, animals walking it in their bare feet, so. Okay, I guess that'll do it. How long did I end up walking? 52 minutes, not too bad. Again, not the most scenic area, but a chance to see some of the shops and things down here on South Albert on a very chilly Wednesday morning. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.